Eoin Morgan said this week it might take some more time before Hales could be successfully reintegrated. He was obviously dropped during the run into last summer's World Cup over a positive drugs test. What's your view on all this, George?
Eoin will get what Eoin wants, I think, and he's probably earned that. You know, he has been that World Cup winning captain. He did rebuild England from a dismal state. He is the natural leader of that group, so he's earned the right to make that decision. Personally, I'm sorry for Alex Hales. I think his sin has been fecklessness rather than anything more malevolent. And I would love to have seen him win a second chance because I think he's a really good player, and I do think time will run out. Alex's views in the last day or two seemed pretty uncompromising. They seemed to suggest he would have to wait a little bit longer. I mean, I suppose he will have served more time out of international cricket than, say, Shane Warne. And Shane Warne's failure wasn't necessarily a recreational drug. It's not quite the same situation, of course. It's not actually a ban. It's like England saying that he's maybe not brilliant for the team environment. Look, ultimately, I suppose he's only got himself to blame, hasn't he? And they want to send a message to other players who might have been tempted to take their eye off the ball a little bit and, you know, enjoy the lifestyle and the trappings of the lifestyle a bit more than the cricket. So they're sending a very strong message again. I get that. Personally, I hoped he would be called back into the system because I don't see anything nasty in him. And I think he's probably one of England's best players. So on form, he would get in. There we are.
Well, certainly in the T20 format, Matt, you've written about his form over recent times, and that perhaps this would be a good opportunity to get him back involved with back-to-back T20 World Cups coming up if the schedule holds.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, does it? I think it's very difficult, having seen what Eoin Morgan said, to picture how he plays, how Hales plays for England with Morgan as captain again. Possibly in 2 years' time, who knows? But it seems unlikely at the moment, especially given Morgan has said this is nothing to do with performance. If it were a performance matter, he'd be in. It's a much bigger problem. I think that one of the main issues I have with it is that a lot of it is centred on this sort of the notion of trust, which I think is undermined a little bit by one of the. This is quite a sort of technical story, so I'm sure not that many people would have noticed it, but the ECB changed their recreational drugs policy ahead of this season to get rid of the unexplained 21-day ban for the second offence, which sort of laid the trail for that Hales story to come out. I don't think that story would probably have broken, but for that unexplained ban. Hales was only dropped because that story was made public by the press. If everything had been watertight in the procedure in the first place, Eoin Morgan would never have found out about the fact that Hales had failed a test for the second time, and presumably therefore he would have had his trust in a way that he no longer does. So I think obviously that's a counterfactual, but I think that there's a decent case, at least, to suggest that the changes in the policy show that Hales was probably quite unfortunate. I think maybe Hales could have come out with a more sort of a public mea culpa very quickly at some point. Maybe, the start of the winter, held his hands up, said he was absolutely desperate to play for England again, all that sort of thing, which maybe hasn't happened. He gave an interview to the Mail on Sunday a couple of weeks ago without quite doing the whole, KP style self-flagellation. But I think it's a shame that Hales will probably never get a chance, at least while he's at his peak, because he's now 31. By the time Morgan stops being captain, he'll probably be at least 33. But yeah.
You would think, taking everything at face value, that he's not going to pick him in the short term. But I don't know about never under his captaincy. I really don't. I'm not positive we've seen the end of Alex Hales. But the fact is, he's 10 years older than Tom Banton or, various other people. And, you never want to be in a situation where you're trying to compete with someone 10 years younger, or in my case, with Heavy, about 30 years younger.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.